This is Georgia's Okefenokee Swamp. Half the size of Rhode Island and the largest freshwater swamp in America, this national wildlife refuge has been a protected national wetland since 1937. As an abundant host of life, a natural flood barrier, and natural water cleaning system, there's a reason the Okefenokee has been protected for so long. And this is Twin Pines LLC, an Alabama-based mining company seeking to circumvent the protections so they can mine Okefenokee for titanium and zirconium. But the mine would compromise Okefenokee's ability to maintain surface and groundwater within its bowl. So if the swamp has been a protected national wetland since 1937, are there not rules against such mining? Well, yes and no. So let's talk about those rules. In 1972, the Clean Water Act became the primary federal law for governing and controlling pollution to protect the United States waters and wetlands.
When I was a child, a long time ago, the rivers were filled with floating sewage and pollution. They would light on fire. The pollution was so severe. So the Clean Water Act has been a big success.
Until over the last 20 years, when regulations of waters decreased in popularity amongst the Supreme Court, leading to two very consequential court cases, Swank and Rapanos. In both, the courts tried to clear up and define exactly what a protected U.S. water is.
The Swank case kind of carved out one set of waters from saying they are not protected. Rapanos, because of its confused court configuration, further muddied the waters. But Rapanos, several of the justices in the Supreme Court said, some of these questions could be cleared up by regulation.
So then came the Clean Water Rule, enacted in 2015 under the Obama administration. It sought to clear up the muddied regulatory waters by providing science-based guidance on how to decide which waters are protected under the 1972 Clean Water Act.
Very importantly is the Obama agencies based their rule on a massive report called the Connectivity Report. They assessed all peer-reviewed, published science about different types of waters and the functions they fulfilled, and then built their rule or their regulation around that science.
And this was a step in the right direction, until, on Earth Day 2020, the Trump administration rescinded the Clean Water Rule and replaced it with the Navigable Waters Protection Act, or the Replacement Rule. This new rule deleted the Clean Water Act's protections to millions of miles of streams and millions of acres of flood-preventing and pollution-trapping wetlands, like the Okefenokee Swamp. So under the Clean Water Rule, before Twin Pines could begin mining, they would have to conduct an environmental impact survey, which would have shown the damages that would be caused to the area. But now, under the Replacement Rule, protections are left up to state regulators and environmental advocacy groups, like Southern Environmental Law Center. So I spoke to Senior Attorney Bill Sapp. So Bill, what exactly are the dangers?
To really understand it, you have to think about how it was formed and how it's shaped. And essentially, it's shaped like a big bowl. What this mining company is trying to do is mine the eastern edge of that bowl, Trail Ridge. And the Fish and Wildlife Service and other experts have said that if you break through that side, the eastern side of the bowl, you could really affect the water levels in the Okefenokee Swamp. And you might say, well, why do we care about that?
Well, the fear is, a chip in the Okefenokee's water table bowl will allow water to flood out and flood the nearby St. Mary's River. And consequently,
the lower water levels would expose peat moss. And once that peat dries out, if there's a thunderstorm with lightning strikes, that peat could quite easily, burst into flame. I mean, it would be a virtual tinderbox out there.
And we've seen these same peat fire problems in Australia.
There are no flames or visible smoke, but below the surface of this Sarsfield paddock is a smouldering peat fire that's putting fire crews to the test.
So why does this Twin Pines and Okefenokee battle matter?
This case is the worst example of what can happen when Clean Water Act restrictions are removed.
Even if state regulators and environmental advocacy groups are able to save the Okefenokee from mining, the threat remains to waters all across America. Until the Replacement Rule is repealed, this could happen again.